Hey there guys, what is going on? Welcome back to yet another new video here in the 2015 series of stuff here on the Vinyl Corner. And I wanted to get into a couple of interesting topics today, so we're going to try to get past all the introing and get right into it. There are a couple of very interesting things I wanted to talk about. One that seems to be a very hot button musical issue amongst people that, whether you read music publications or YouTube comments, God forbid, or any of the overall things in the current stream of consciousness of people talking about things. And then we're going to talk about something that's a bit closer to my heart and more nearer to home, and it'll just make sense, and that's just a really cool thing that needs to get mentioned in this particular video. I want to talk about a subject, a musical artist, a rapper, a hip-hop man, a guy I have never actually talked about here on my new channel or on my old one, or really any publicating, any sort of, that's not really a word I don't think, but any sort of writing or things that I've done to this point. But in 2015 I want to try to take on some new things and some different things, and this was actually one of the first tracks that I heard in the new year, and I thought to myself, kind of having it rest in the back of my mind, maybe this would be sort of an interesting topic to bring up, especially since it seems to really be going around with a lot of people right now, which is namely the Kanye West collaboration with Paul McCartney on his new song, Only One. This song broke out shortly before the new year, right around that time, and it was just happened to be like one of the first things I saw as it was 2015, which made me think, well, we're really going to be into a very interesting year indeed, aren't we? It really just seems like one of those things that's like, so this is indicative of our year, this should be interesting. So when I saw he was collaborating with Paul McCartney, it was kind of like one of those things of just like, well, I gotta know what this is about, you know, because most people would think, well, what is this? Is this some sort of ill-fated attempt at a duet? What's happening here that these two guys have come together, you know, a former Beatle and one of hip-hop's great icons. And to listen to this track, first of all, it is not anything like you would expect, because McCartney's sole contribution is basically playing organ behind West's auto-tuned vocals for a couple of minutes, and that's really it for the track. It is a very stripped down, bare bones kind of a track. It doesn't really seem like something Kanye has done before, but the contribution, the blending of bringing these two guys together is very subdued, very well meant track. I think it's very interesting because, having not really been so tied up in Kanye West and all this stuff, other than, you know, seeing his name here, and over here, you know, it really helps you get that sense of separation where you're not on the side of, well, I love Kanye's music, but what is this Paul McCartney thing, or these Paul McCartney fans coming in and saying, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life, and oh, what is this terrible collaboration? Paul, how could you, and why would you associate with this god-awful song and this guy? And it's just like, people, give it a rest. Just give it a rest. And the people that just want to comment to come in and say, oh, Kanye is a terrible individual and a terrible human being, and this collaboration sucks, and oh, I'm a keyboard warrior, look at what I can do. You know, like this, it doesn't add anything of any real value. And I actually honestly think that the song, for being, you know, as much as it seems like Kanye is a very self-centered individual, a very kind of braggadocio, kind of an out there, kind of a hype talking kind of a guy, which is very typical in the rap game from what I've seen. You know, he is that kind of guy. It really seems like if you strip that away, you kind of take that personality out of it and that whole thing, you really see the heart in this track, this track Only One, which kind of blends these auto-tuned vocals, because West isn't a good singer, against organ that kind of gives it this soul feel. It's about West's mother, from the perspective of West's mother writing, you know, kind of speaking to him what he says occurred, and, you know, speaking to him like in a dream or in a sequence or something, and telling him that she's proud of him and all this stuff, which a lot of people have taken to be as always being more self-centered and crazy and all this stuff. And granted, there could be some element of that, but at the same time, I think, you know, he gets so much crap, and, you know, I could see why it happens, and, you know, why people get on both sides of, you know, he's a genius, oh, he's terrible, he's self-centered, all this stuff. That's the music game. Honestly, that is the music game in so many respects. I mean, he is a more public figure. He's married to a very public figure. He's gotten very out there in that, but I don't think that changes him wholly from all of these other crazy ass musicians who are anal retentive about this thing or crazy about this thing, or snorted the ashes of their father or did this or the other thing. It's like it just kind of comes with the territory, and in some way I don't think Kanye deserves all the flack, at least where it comes to his music, where it's like you just can't let anything in because, oh, it's Kanye, oh, I have to block it out, oh, it's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. It's like, as I'm getting into this music game and, really continuing to try to branch out and open myself up to do things here on my channel and the writing business, all the stuff that I've done in the last few years, you kind of try to push away your preconceptions, because you never know exactly what it is that you might stumble upon that's really actually pretty good. And I gotta say, for being a single to whatever record or thing this is that Kanye is doing, because it hasn't really been formally announced what that is, other than this guy did backing vocals and he and Paul are working together more, and they did other songs together and recorded in a bungalow somewhere or something like that. It really hasn't been announced what further plans are. But as far as this goes, if this is any indication of like a new direction he's taking it, and doing something interesting with auto-tune, because auto-tune is such a mockery, from the Black Eyed Peas to that video of the guy from the Intervention show where he has the really weird cry that sounds like a dinosaur, and then people auto-tune it, and it's this whole thing that really didn't make any sense. But auto-tune has kind of become a mockery in its own sense, but it's interesting to see it handled in a musical sense when there's real, I don't know, I just think there's real intent, real just something really behind that. And I think if you give Paul credit for anything, like I've seen everything from, oh, what's Paul doing? Paul's gone senile, this, that, and the other one, is that I think it's really awesome that people in certain genres and stuff aren't just like contained to their own peers or their own benefactors or this and that and the other. They don't just stay in one place. And I think if anything with Paul, he acknowledges the fact that, you know what, Kanye may be a head case, he may be this, he may be that or the other, but he's a pretty damn talented guy, as evidenced by the way his music has gone, the way his sales have gone, the way the awards he's roped in, the accolades he's gained. Clearly he's a very talented individual, and I think this song may show a new side of it. So Kanye West, Paul McCartney, Only One. Definitely go and give that a listen. It is a very interesting song, and it has certainly stirred up a lot of debate, but I really think it's redeeming. So we're going to try to speed through this here now and get to my second topic, which was American Aquarium with their two singles from their upcoming record, Wolves, which are the title track Wolves and the song Man I'm Supposed to Be, which just came out today. American Aquarium really kind of came to light for me last year when I saw them open for Justin Townes Earl up in Rochester. They were, I think they were even better than Justin that night. They were fantastic, great live rockin' live band. BJ Barham, their lead singer, is just this intense guy, this intense SOB that you just look at him right from that. He's just got this stare and this propulsion in his eyes and this kind of just this dead set scowl and this like old school country rocker kind of a serious dude kind of vibe, and they're just talented as hell. This new thing, I wish I jumped on it sooner, is just as promising in the sense that it still pursues that country rock vibe with the title track, which has a great just vibe to it, and BJ Barham's raspy vocals just out front, like pounding the pavement on it and really leading that track. It's a great freaking track. You got to listen to that one. It's a great lead single. And the Man I'm Supposed to Be, I've probably played that 5 or 6 times already just on a loop. It's beautifully subdued. The instruments kind of linger in the background. The percussion, the pedal steel they're very subtle and subdued. And it's really, for a guy who's written a lot of sad bastard country songs, as even he has said himself, and kind of in that Ryan Adams mold and all that, this is really kind of a first attempt at a love song to his girlfriend at the time, who he is now married to. And it's a beautiful song about sort of acknowledging all the things you may never get to be in this life, and but you acknowledge the things that you are, whether they be clumsy or whatever they are, if they're awkward or not quite right, but that's who I'm supposed to be. And as long as you call me your man, that's all right by me. That's a great thing, to be. It's like, it's one of those simply relatable things in life where you try to find your place in the world and your puzzle piece and where you fit in with everything. And if you find that thing, no matter if you reach the pinnacle of perfection in it, or you're just good enough to feel okay with how you've been in it, that's all right too. And if you get somebody to share it with in that regard, that makes it a really beautiful, worthwhile thing. I love the song live. When I heard it, I love the live takes on YouTube, but the studio version is really making it for me in another way, just all together, and the guitar in the background, and a nice little solo in there. It's so pretty, and it's like kind of opposite ends of the spectrum with the two, but it's nice to see American Aquarium kind of taking a step a little bit back from the country rock vibe. And not that that's new for them, but it shows that they can just really do it all. Just go check out American Aquarium and Wolves. The album was out on like a Pledge Music fundraising kind of a thing that has since passed, but I'm currently on the lookout to get it through iTunes or some other physical means, because I think it's really going to be worth it. So definitely go check out American Aquarium with Wolves and with Man I'm Supposed to Be. Really pretty, rockin', awesome stuff. And check out Paul McCartney and Kanye West with Only One. That took up a little more time than I expected to talking about that, but I think it's worth the conversation. And when those divisive musical issues come up, it's interesting to really break it down and to think to yourself, kind of getting people's angry rhetoric out of the way, or this and that and the other. Like, what is this person trying to say here, and what does this strike a tone with my heart outside of everybody else's nonsense? Do I feel what this person is trying to say? Do they really mean it? There's just a sincerity there? Is there such a thing? And I think it really possesses that. So it's a really interesting thing. Debate below or up above, or contact, comment, all of the above if you guys are interested in sounding off on your opinions on that, because there's certainly been a lot, but that is my opinion on that, as well as American Aquarium. Two things really close to my heart for this weekend to get it kicked off. I hope you appreciate that, guys. Keep it here. We got some cool reviews coming at you, some things I just downloaded today to get to work on. Keep it here, guys. Stay tuned.